Hello, welcome to In the Red Corner. We'll just get a couple of minutes, see if anybody does jump on this live, unusual, off-topic vlog or blog, whatever they call them now. So, yeah, we'll just get a minute or so, see if anybody pops in. A little bit earlier than scheduled, but here you go. Thought I'd do it now when I've got a chance. While we're waiting as well, thanks to the main sponsors, Barnsley Sport. Thanks for them for sharing the content. Oatwell Sandwich, thanks for sponsoring the channel. I really do appreciate it. Thanks to Chalky White, just an absolutely fantastic follower at the channel. Thank you for your efforts, pal. Really do appreciate it. And also thanks to the subscriber that suggested this, Jonathan at work. He subscribes to the channel, not really a football fan, but he suggested, well, there's no news coming out of Oatwell and football season's finished, to just have a quick chat about my days in wrestling when I used to be a wrestler. So that's what we're going to do. Also, a shout out as well to somebody else at work, Emma Thompson, who I work with. She wanted a shout out, so there you are, Emma. If you are watching, let me know that you've got that shout out. So yeah, bit off topic, but you know, I take every suggestion from subscribers, and especially in close season when you know there's no football and things are a bit quiet at Oatwell at the minute because of no transfer activities. I just thought I'd do this. It was suggested, and I thought, yeah, why not? Let's do it. So yeah, about the time when I was a pro wrestler. So I've always been into wrestling. Always been a wrestling fan. I think the only one me really family who are a wrestling fan. Used to watch it every time, without fail, on a Saturday. World of Sport. Used to love British wrestling. Been to a few British wrestling events when I was younger. Absolutely loved it. Sometimes on Saturdays as well at World of Sport, sometimes I'd now and again show some wrestling from America, which was WWF. And that was just an amazing treat because apart from that, we didn't really get it over here. So yeah, always been into wrestling. Some of my favourite wrestlers, well, from World of Sport days, you're looking at like Giant Haystacks. I mean, not exactly a technical wrestler, but you put bums on seats and that's what it's all about. Who else? Les Kellett. Les Kellett is somebody who I tried to incorporate when I started wrestling. Just an absolutely fantastic wrestler to watch. He was so entertaining. If you can, when you've got time, one of the matches with Les Kellett, if you've not already seen it, put Les Kellett versus Brian Glover in. It's one of the most funniest wrestling matches I've ever seen, and that's what I was trying to copy when I started wrestling. Because today in wrestling, I don't think there's many characters, and when I started, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be different, and I think I was different. I was definitely different. It got me bookings. I got booked on quite a few shows up and down country. I'll be honest, more than I anticipated and more really that I wanted to do. So yeah, I did all right. Like I said, I didn't expect getting them amount of bookings, and if I really, I think I probably took too many bookings on. But yeah, it was brilliant. So I first started getting into my wrestling training at Doncaster. There was a promotion there that used to get all Americans over with also top British wrestlers as well. It was like a super show type of thing. I'm not going to mention any promotions or anything like that, but it was one at Doncaster, and that's where I did my training. Used to train with him every weekend, every Sunday at Doncaster. It was Andy Critterton's like martial arts centre where we used to put ring up. That's where we used to train. I even used to like putting ring together. That was just part of your training, which I did as well on a few shows, put rings together when I wasn't wrestling. But yeah, absolutely loved it. My first ever lesson in pro wrestling, it was without a ring because we didn't have ring there at the time, and plus they didn't really know how many people were going to show up. As it was, there must have been about 50 odd students show up that first day. There weren't as many when it got on because I personally don't think people realised how hard wrestling training is. And also what I didn't agree with as well with the younger generation. I think when they got to find out how wrestling actually works, I think that like ruined the illusion for them. But yeah, I was sat there waiting to train, and this great big wrestler, and I've wrestled him before on shows, who are called Donny Bull, 20 odd stone, outside at ring, an absolutely nice guy. Well, Lee, that's his real name, Donny Bull. But when I first saw him in training, I thought, Christ, what have I got myself into here? He could have absolutely flattened every one of us. But yeah, a nice guy. I personally thought he was a good wrestler, what used as much as he should have been. But yeah, did a few matches with him. And with wrestling, you've got to keep it safe, and that's what he did when I wrestled him. Never got injured when I was wrestling Donny Bull. I can only say good things about him. I thought he was a top bloke, and yeah, people like that who really I miss now I'm not wrestling. So yeah, first day was an eye opener. Learning moves, learning things. Although I'm being a wrestling fan, I never really saw while I was watching it. Without going too technical, if you watch wrestling, wrestlers will do everything down the left-hand side of the body. So if somebody were taking me into an arm lock, it would be my left arm. Everything's down your left-hand side of your body. So if you don't already know that, you watch when you watch WWE. Everything's down the left-hand side, except if you're wrestling in Mexico, for some reason they do it on right. So things like that I didn't know. I got used to it. Little things like that as well does make a good match to watch. And yeah, absolutely loved it. T-Tyke, what was let me just put it up. What was your wrestling name? My wrestling name, when I first started, again, let me just say this first and foremost, I want the most athletic of wrestlers. I used to do some moves that I was quite proud of, but I want the most athletic. But I did try to make it look realistic. And I wanted a character, because if you look back in the day with WWF in early 80s, 90s, there were characters. And that's what I wanted to do, because now they're just going the same name, and the dressed out same. Anyway, so I started off as a wrestler called Jack Russell, comedy wrestler. Like I said, I like making people laugh, and it was me escapism when I was wrestling, to help me it did help me anxiety and depression, wrestling. So yeah, I was called Jack Russell. Used to get dressed up as a great big dog, really. My bottoms had paw prints on, jacket back. I actually had a dog tail sewn on as well. When I first started, I had ears as well. So yeah, I was just totally out there. But that got me loads of bookings in wrestling. There is serious fan forums with wrestling, and a lot of serious wrestling fans absolutely hated the gimmick and me because they could take it serious. But end of the day, it got me like some more bookings than I really wanted, if I'm honest. And it's wrestling, you know. Nobody's. I refuse to copy everybody. I mean, my favourite wrestlers of all time is like Bret the Hitman Hart, Mr. Perfect. You know, I was never going to be like them anyway. And I didn't want to just look like a generic wrestler, which most of them are now, unfortunately. What's the biggest crowd you've wrestled in and any big venues? Let me just put that up as well. The biggest crowd that I wrestled in, it only won my second match. And that was at Doncaster Dome. It was, again, that promotion that I trained for, it was them that running that show. They had an afternoon show, little mini show, and then the main show at night. That afternoon one that I was on, my second ever wrestling match. And there were over 500 people there in Doncaster Dome. There were people in back, you know, in locker rooms who, well, you might see on TV now, Americans. There were AJ Styles on that same show. There was a wrestler called the Sandman who's been in WWE and ECW, if anybody remembers that. So there were quite a lot of big names there, and it was very, very daunting. I wrestled me trainer that night. He helped me through match. My job was to lose, which that's what mainly my job consisted of in wrestling, or just to lose. Some calls it a jobber. But I was quite happy to lose anyway because there's not that much to remember. It's just a case of you taking moves and that they're just trying to make your opponent look good. So I was quite happy doing it. So yeah, that's my biggest crowd and venue. Doncaster Dome, 500 people in afternoon. Yeah, full of top workers and, like I said, wrestlers who I used to watch on TV, WWF. It was just quite. It was quite surreal, actually, because I never thought I'd get to that stage. I trained with a few Americans as well. There's a wrestler, well, I think he's a commentator now at WWE. I think he goes under the name of Corey Graves. But yeah, I did a training seminar with him. It was him that showed me how to throw a wrestling punch. And yeah, we did a training session with him. He used to be called SJK when he used to come over here, when he wanted WWE. But yeah, a nice, again, another nice person outside at wrestling ring that all portrayed a bad guy. But yeah, I learned so much when I was training with him. Did the wrestlers talk to each other during the match to say what moves to do next and when to lose? Yeah, I was guilty of that. Sometimes one of my faults, if you want, or weakness, was remembering what move were coming next. it won't just be there were other wrestlers as well. So sometimes you'd have to slow it down, put somebody in a headlock and just say, right, what's next? And they'll tell you. So yeah, there's a lot of that going off. There's some matches that's absolutely scripted from start to finish. Some good wrestlers, and well, not just good wrestlers, but some wrestlers that are forced to just do it on fly, what we used to call it on the fly, where you didn't go through what were happening through match. So you had to call your moves while you were in ring. I personally enjoyed working like that because, like I say, you didn't have to go in and remember. There was a guy who I wrestled who was called the Butcher, and again, another big guy. I actually won that match, actually, one of the few matches I won. And yeah, halfway through match, he forgot a few things. At first, he forgot to. I went to pin him, and he was supposed to kick out. He didn't kick out, so referee looked like he counted to 3, and everybody noticed it. Crowd, so I had to pretend I was arguing with ref, and that he got it wrong. And referee then I think he realised that he said, "Oh, yeah, it's a 2." So then he forgot a move as well. So I whipped him into the corner, and I shouted to the crowd, "Clothesline!" And that was, although it was shouted to the crowd, I was actually telling him as well what was coming next, so he could get his bearings back together. But yeah, there is a lot of that calling spots. Sometimes you can see it, sometimes you can hear it on TV, which is bad. I've heard it on wrestling shows in England when you can hear them, and really you shouldn't be able to do that. If you do it right, you can talk to each other without people hearing it. What moves to do next and when to lose. You know who's going to win or lose before you go out. We used to get what's called a run sheet. So it used to tell you what match were first. Then it used to say so and so would go over. In wrestling terms, sorry, that means who's going to win. Most of the time, it would down to you and that other wrestler how you decide who's going to win, or not who's going to win. Sorry, how you're going to win, unless it was like a certain match or a spot where you went through a table. Because I went through tables as well in hardcore matches. And it sounds weird, but I used to like doing that because it used to break your fall. But it was knackered for work on Monday. I was. Wrestling training was very, very tough. Although non-wrestling fans think it's 2 guys just messing about. You can't mess about in a wrestling ring. If you do, you could get severely injured. I know because I'm being on end of injuries and wrestling training. I've seen people in wrestling training one Saturday. It looked like he was absolutely pumped up. Looks like he was fittest bloke on earth. Whether it were natural or not, I don't know. I highly doubt it. But we got running round venue about 10 times. Then we went straight into the ring. It was like a relay type of thing. Went into the ring, did a few moves, and afterwards he was outside throwing up. Don't get me wrong, I was absolutely knackered, but I didn't get to that stage. But I've seen guys throw up. Honestly, wrestling training is brutal if you go to proper training. Who was your favourite wrestler to wrestle? I've had a few. There's one of my trainers who lives not too far away called Tommy, Welsh guy. He used to portray, he started portraying a bad guy, and I used to wrestle him. We just knew each other's moves. We knew what to do. We knew what moves we like to take or do. I had a hardcore match with Tommy at Birdwell actually. And since then, wrestling's not been allowed in that venue. He threw me into Barnsley, or were just old bottles falling. It was just so funny. I ended up with concussion as well after that fight. But yeah, Tommy, one of my former trainers, used to love wrestling him. I think he's retired now. There used to be somebody called Mikey, similar to me really, not as athletic, but we used to do some really good comedy matches. I did a match once where I said to Mikey, I said, through match, I'll get up and cheer. And I says, while I'm doing that, pull my trousers down, and under me wrestling trousers, I wore some like long johns, and at back I coloured it in brown, and at front coloured it in yellow. When I pulled it down, it obviously looked like I'd fallen my sen. And yeah, things like that I just love, because I love making people laugh. So yeah, there's a few real. As long as a wrestler used to be safe and look after you, rather than, because there was a lot of wrestlers who either were badly trained, or as long as they got their moves in, they didn't really care about your health and safety. So yeah, as long as they were safe, but those were my top two. I used to wrestle a guy as well, another Barnsley fan actually, called Martin Foster. Again, we knew each other, knew what moves we could and couldn't do, or we didn't like doing. And yeah, although we were the most athletic of wrestlers, I do think we made it look like we were proper clubbing crap out to each other, which, is always good, I suppose. But yeah, I've had a few injuries. In training, we did a training match. Somebody decided halfway through, he just said, "Tech suplex," so he wanted to try and suplex me. He got me halfway up, and he just couldn't pull me over, so he dropped me square on my head. Yeah, that wasn't too great. I've had my nose straightened out 2 or 3 times. One of the reasons why I had to pack in as well is because Mikey, who I've just told you about, one of my favourite wrestlers who I used to like working with, one of my last ever matches, or when I knew it was time to think about packing in, I got up after a simple move. One of the moves where Mikey was going to body slam me. I took body slam perfect, got up, and were like, all this. I do apologise if anybody's eating or a bit squirmish, but there were like a yellow fluid coming out of my nose. It was just pouring like a bottle. So we had to cut match short. Mikey, pretended to pick me up. And he says, "You all right, dude?" I says, "No," I says, "We'll have to finish it." So he just pinned me there and then. So yeah, it worked good. I'd it for ages after that. I did try and make a comeback against somebody else who I used to. In fact, this guy, my last ever match was against the person that I had my first ever match with, Stevie Flint. He's actually been on Come Down With Me, if you've seen that. But yeah, I had a comeback match against Stevie. Again, he just did a simple, it's called a hip toss. I was running towards him and he hip tossed me. Took it perfect, bump, and we call it a bump. It's where you fall safely without hurting yourself. Got up and my nose just absolutely poured. Then I said to him, we'll have to end match. What's this, Sean? Connor is back. Oh, let me have a look. I hope that you're right, pal. I'm glad we went live now. Yay! Conor Hourihane. Yes, that's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. I think I'm over the moon with that. It is with great pride that Barnsley Football Club can announce that Conor Hourihane will return to Well, that's fantastic news. That's what we've been waiting for. I think that'll lift club up. I think. I'm hoping as well it's going to fetch quality of players in there, because I think that's a brilliant capture. I honestly do. I said this before. Imagine Conor Hourihane showing old tricks and old knowledge to players like Jallow. It's gonna help them players absolutely no end. That is a fantastic bit of business, and because I know there's been rumours, but you like believe it when you see it, and now it's on official website. Then wow. Hourihane will link up with Darryl Clark and Martin Devaney to form a crucial part of the club's new look coaching and leadership team, performing duties on and off the pitch. Upon his return, Conor said, "To start the next phase of my career at a club I have such a history with is special to me and my family. I can't wait to join Darryl's coaching staff to get back to playing on Oakwell too. It feels like I'm home." I mean, that's great, that to hear, isn't it? Darryl Clark, this is an exciting day for us all. Absolutely, without a doubt, it is. Having Conor's experience around the building is going to be vitally important, with over 600 games under his belt at level, including the Premier League and internationally with Ireland. That is, I mean, let's be honest, club does get a lot of stick. We know that, but they've actually followed through, and I think that's signing is going to be vital me for next season. Even if Hourihane, I don't know, just starts up bench. But looking, I actually thought he was older. I think he's only 33. But that is one hell of a signing for Barnsley. I'm absolutely over the moon with that. Absolutely over the moon. I can't see how many fan can complain with that, because that is just amazing. Just can't put it into words. It's great. Let's hope for more. Like I said, hopefully Hourihane's got contacts. He might, attract players now to Oakwell. It's I just can't put it. I honestly didn't think it was going to happen. I thought another club was going to come in and outdo us. But that is, wow. Looking forward. Well, I always look forward to the season anyway, but great news. Best news in a long time. It is, mate. I welcome him back, with open arms. Steady at midfield. If Connell is still here, before season starts. Again, look at knowledge he's going to pass on to like Connell, Hourihane and Phillips. It's that's just great news. That I don't think you can wish for better for a first signing, really. Whether it's player coach or what, it don't matter. But absolutely over the moon with that. Should attract a few others to join. I hope so. Like I say, he will have his contacts without a doubt. I mean, personally, again, will it happen? But if we're needing a centre forward, Dwight Gale, why not? Bit wages, but he's a free agent now, So players like that, we don't expect them to spend millions and God knows what, but yeah, honestly, I'm speechless. Didn't really expect that at all. But yeah, breaking news from Sean. Cheers, Sean. That's yeah. I'm glad I went live now, even though it was talking garbage about me wrestling career. Honestly, I can get interrupted anytime when we sign a player, especially like Hourihane. Wow. But yeah, we need to sign more now, ready for them to fit in, get used to the place. Whether they're just waiting place come back off holiday, because I don't think many players will be taking holidays any later now, because when they're due to get back to training, really. But yeah, what a signing that is! So chuffed to bits. So yeah, I don't know whether to carry on now or end it there. But yeah, I hope that showed anyway what I do with wrestling, and obviously, like I say, this channel as live as we've gone live. Conor Hourihane signed. Wow. Let me know what you think in comments, what your thoughts are. I personally think it's best news for a long time, like Sean said. Yeah, I am now, mate. I must admit, before I went live, I thought, shall I go live? Because, like I said, I'm talking about me wrestling stuff because there were no news coming out. Then I'm glad you've put that on, mate, because that is, well, what news that is. Just fantastic. Let's hope now we can try and get a few more season tickets sold, bump crowds up. But first and foremost, let's get some more decent players in. Yeah, that's just great. That's just great. It's got to be good news for all Barnsley fans. That for me, it really has. To me, it was a no-brainer as well if he's been released and coming back to Barnsley. I think that's just going to suit him down to the ground as well. Is he going to be? I want to say he's going to be captain, but if he's not going to be starting all the time, see, I think Phillips might make a good captain, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm sure it'll get announced. If he does become captain, then I think he'll probably be playing more than we think. But whether he's playing or not, it's good to have him, and good to have him as an addition as a player, definitely. Yes, agree. We need more to build on this team to take us up. Well, without a doubt, because at the minute I know it's like pre-season, end of season, or whatever you want to call it, but yeah, we definitely need to rebuild team back up. But yeah, there we go. Just let me know if you want to stay on, or I'll end it there on that positive note. Just let me know in comments. If not, then I'll just bog off and let you get your tea or whatever you're doing, your lot. Great uplift, Sean, making the rebuild look more interesting. It is, yeah. It is. How often have we been crying out for like experience like that? Well, I can't remember since when. We've been crying out for it for ages, and yeah, you can't complain against that. Have a few pants, now he's home. Yeah, I might do once I pick Maddie up from work later, because I'm going to pick Maddie up later driving. So it's wonder Maddie's not text me so that Let's have a look. Conor Hourihane. I've got an old video at Hourihane on channel actually. I think it was one of our playing FIFA on Xbox 360. I think it was. I think I scored a goal playing as Barnsley, and I think it was Hourihane who scored. Might have to try and dig that out somewhere. But yeah, fantastic. Yeah, thanks for joining. I hope it's been fairly interesting about my wrestling career. So yeah, if not, then I do apologise. Somewhat new. I always take comments on board from subscribers. I just thought that was a perfect time. Then, lo and behold, Conor signs, doesn't he? But always good. It's always good. Hey up, trees. I'm going to be done shortly. How's this tea?
Will you serve yours and yours?
Ah, you serve it up. You're cooking it, mate.
Not anymore.
Get it served up. Come on. Been grafting all day.
It's going to serve it up for you, Mum.
Right, thanks for watching anyway, and looks like I'm serving my own tea up, so always good. But yeah, like I say, I hope it was interesting, and what news to end on. Hourihane's back. Get in. See you later, and don't forget to subscribe if you've not already. Caviar. When somebody mentions caviar, I always think of Bottom. One of my favourite comedy shows. It's not caviar. It's Rothendern's finest scampi and chips tonight. So I just fancied scampi. So there we are. We know how to live it up here in Wath. Diet of a wrestler, that, mate. Scampi and chips. And yeah, before I go as well, as you can see, I've kept that on as well to shout outs to all other content creators, which I think they deserve. I'm more than happy to do that. Give all the content creators that I can think of exposure. As small of a channel as mine is, but I think they all deserve it. So yeah, there we are. Anyway, no waffling. I've got some chips and scampi to tackle. Take care. Enjoy your tea. I will do, pal. I will do. All right. See you later. Bye bye.